Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ebertfest. We will be starting in approximately 5 minutes. We'll be starting in about 5 minutes. Thank you.
Good morning. Wow. I am so happy to see so many of you still here. You know, we start calling this Sundays at Ebertfest. At the original festival wasn't planned to have a Sunday projection, but Roger loved it so much. It was actually supposed to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Roger added Wednesday as opening night, and then he added Sunday as closing. So once you do it once, we were supposed to change and contract it, and he said, nope, once you do it once, it's a tradition. So that's our tradition. So we started branding Sundays as Sundays at Ebertfest. And one of the things that we like, this is not a digression, it's going to feed right into what I'm going to say, but there was a play put on by the Black Ensemble Theater in Chicago about my life with Roger, and it was called The Black-White Play. That's what they called it. But it was actually a play. It wasn't about the movies. It was a play about love. And in the play, some of the film critics in Chicago who reviewed the play loved the play, but they said they had something inaccurate. They said they showed Roger singing and dancing. What they didn't know is Roger loved to sing and dance, and we would sing and dance all the time. That was one of our favorite things to do together. Although sometimes Roger just sang union songs, but it's one of the things that we did. So when we talked about Sundays, we said, let's do something with a musical theme on Sundays. And in the past, we've done things like we had a reunion of when we showed Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, the Strawberry Alarm Clock hadn't played together for probably like 20 years. We had a reunion of all 11 members of Strawberry Alarm Clock. Remember that? That Sunday? Yes. And after that, they started, once they got back together, they started touring again, and they get, all over Europe and everywhere. And then I think one member of the band passed away, but they're still touring. We've had gospel choirs. We had New Orleans blues people after Bayou Maharaja, a lot of things. Today, we're going to have a Cole Porter movie and a performance on stage afterwards by Jimmy and Donnie Demers. So we want you to stick around for the performance, the live performance after the movie. I have a few housekeeping things. Again, I'm to remind you that Ebertfest next year, April 18th through the 22nd, and I say that to make sure that you reserve, excuse me, I hope that I don't have these allergies next year when I come back. We hope, that you reserve your rooms at the Hyatt because it just worked out so well for a lot of people to just walk from the Hyatt Hotel to the theater. Let me see. The other thing is, if you want to give me suggestions, like I said, next year is our 20th year. That's our big year. So I would really love for you to give me your suggestions about things that we could do, events that we could have during the festival, or even events leading up to the festival, or contests that we could hold leading up to the festival. Be really creative, or suggestions of movies, which we usually don't do because Nate and I put our heads together to put the program together. But for the 20th year, we're willing to try some new inventive things. If you have those suggestions, send them to ebertfest@yahoo.com, ebertfest@yahoo.com. And the other thing I'm to remind you, if you want to write about the festival for social media, use hashtag Ebertfest or hashtag Ebertfest 2017. Now, some thank yous. I want to, first of all, give a welcome, a very grateful applause to our projectionists, James Bond, Travis Bird, and Joaquin. Thank you. They have a light show going up there for me. Thank you, guys. Love you. Joaquin de la Puenta. And we want to also thank our backstage crew. Come on out. Kevin, Sean, Kelly, Tracy, Ron. I'm going to tell you, these guys are so great. They keep things running like clockwork for us. And there's a whole connection and of all these people who are doing everything, and they're down below taping things, and they do everything. And they have been very gracious to our guests. I really appreciate it. Our guests say that this is a very well-run back of the house. So thank you.
Thank you, Chad.
And then you will see one of the things I like about our film festival, it's a little quaint. We have an organist. Our volunteers, look how beautiful. They dress in black and white. They look so beautiful. Thank you. These are our volunteers. And we have the volunteers who also drive people around. We really like to keep it organized, and we really like to take care of you like a family. Actually, my family was never that good to me, and they didn't put on little black and white uniforms when I came home. But thank you, the volunteers. Some of them have been with us almost the whole time of the festival. So that's important. Thank you. But the three-headed team that works so closely together and in such harmony to bring you this festival is, I want to call out Nate Cohen, our festival director, and Casey Ludwig, our assistant director. It is.
Can I interrupt you for a minute?
Sure.
Okay. So all of this, as you guys know, would not be possible without Chaz. And so let's give her a round of applause. Thank you. And we have something for you to say thank you.
What? Oh, thank you.
As you know, at the very beginning of the festival, it was always a tradition that we would present you with flowers on Sunday when Roger was still doing this. And we thought it'd be a good time to reinstitute that.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Because we really love you and love everything you do for the festival.
Thank you. Thank you. I love flowers, and just one little personal note. Before Roger passed away, he left instructions, and I get flowers delivered several times a year from him still. These are, thank you. So I love flowers.
Thank you. When we were in Cannes a few years ago and we saw Paul Cox's film Innocence, Chaz started crying, and I walked her back to the hotel. She cried the whole way back to the hotel. Chaz and tears are something that we love, and we've grown accustomed to.
Thank you. I try to control that. Oh, one other person I have to thank, sitting in the back, is my right-hand man. He is the project manager for the Ebert Company, but he also happens to be my nephew, Daniel Jackson. Stand up, Daniel. And I may start a contact with you, but Daniel is usually the person who carries out things, and I just couldn't, the company couldn't keep running without him. I really appreciate him. Thank you. I need some water, excuse me. Excuse me. And now, we have a very, very lovely program planned for you today. For Sundays at Ebertfest, we have the award-winning producers, we have the movie DeLovely, and we have a director and producer, Erwin Winkler. Erwin Winkler's career as a producer, director, and writer encompasses popular and influential movies that have impacted contemporary culture. He has worked on over 50 motion pictures, garnering among them 12 Academy Awards and 52 Oscar nominations. Among Erwin Winkler's multiple nominations include 5 Best Picture nominations, each for a pioneering film: Rocky, Raging Bull, The Right Stuff, Goodfellas, and the recent The Wolf of Wall Street. He is the only producer honored with 3 films on the American Film Institute's list of the top 100 films. He was recently honored by the Producers Guild of America with the prestigious David O. Selznick Achievement Award, which recognized his lifetime body of work. A couple of his most recent titles include films Silence, with longtime collaborator Martin Scorsese, and Creed. In 2004, Erwin directed one of his most distinctive features, the musical biography of the legendary composer Cole Porter. This film features Golden Globe nomination performances from Kevin Kline and Ashley Judd, as well as performances from pop and rock music talents, including Sheryl Crow, Alanis Morissette, Elvis Costello, Robbie Williams, Natalie Cole, and Diana Krall, all performing Porter's classic songs. And here with Erwin Winkler is the co-producer, Charles Winkler. He's the son of Erwin, and he was raised in Los Angeles and from an early age expressed a desire to be a filmmaker. Charles spent many years working in assistant positions, learning the craft of movie making. After making a series of short narrative films and documentaries in his early 20s, Charles began writing and directing feature films. A few of his projects include You're Talking to Me, Disturbed, Streets of Blood, and Net 2.0. Please help me welcome the producers of DeLovely and director and producer of DeLovely, Erwin Winkler and Charles Winkler.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm Erwin, this is Charles. It's a real treat to be here to see Chaz because I've known, or I knew Roger for, I don't know, 30, 40 years, and I never saw him happier than when he was with Chaz. So, yeah. So in sickness and in health, they were a very, very happy couple. As far as DeLovely, it's great to see it on a big screen. I personally haven't seen it since the Cannes Film Festival in 2004. So it's going to be a treat for me to be in the audience with you and watch the film and probably get angry at myself for the mistakes I made. But there's nothing I can do about it now, nor can you. This film was a very complicated film to make, in as much as, like a lot of films that are made kind of independently, we didn't have a big budget. And Charles was very responsible for, as the producer, although I usually carry that mantle of the producer, I was so busy directing, I really didn't have a chance to do all the hard work a producer has to do. And when you watch the film, you will see that the film takes place in the locations of Paris, New York, Broadway, Connecticut, even Arizona, and Venice, Italy. The entire film, however, was shot in London, except for the Venice sequence, which we shot in Luxembourg. But I hope you don't know the difference. Anyhow, I'd like to turn it over to Charles for a moment.
This is quite a setup you guys have here. This Ebertfest is incredible. Just would like everybody to know that DeLovely was truly a labor of love. And when you're making a musical, you're actually making two films at the same time, which turns out to be, in terms of technically and infrastructure, incredibly complicated, because you're preparing a film like you ordinarily would, casting, location scouting, preparing, but you're also rehearsing all the musical acts at the same time. It becomes incredibly complicated, and you'll see Damien Chazelle, after La La Land, had his head was spinning because he was only one person trying to do both those jobs, and it's pretty crazy. I will say this about DeLovely, though. Going to work every day and knowing you're going to hear Cole Porter songs all day long, it's just not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the film.
Yes. See you later.